Okay, here with Andrea Wen. This is Paul Slatkus. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you. Actually, we're working together on Earth Day and on the International Day of Peace. Andrea is a very talented. I've seen this now. She's well. There's a lot of the things that you like to do. So you're a creator, an artist, activist. You're born in Venezuela. You're educated in Europe. I think you live in Spain now, and you're part of a UN organization. And wow, are you having a good time?
Yes, because everything I do is my passion.
Oh, all right. And who suggested for you to follow your passions? Or what made you think that that's the way you should live your life?
Well, I think everybody's different, but in my childhood, since I was very young growing up, I already knew what I wanted to do in life.
Wow.
Uh, I knew that I wanted to serve to a greater purpose, and I knew that everything that I do in life had to serve to a bigger purpose, and that's for the well-being of humanity and the planet Earth. I knew that since I was 8 years old growing up.
Yeah.
So I know it's different for everyone, but my passion is everything I'm doing because I feel like I'm contributing to that purpose that I always dreamed to.
And what are some of the projects you're working on now that you feel really good about?
Well, I've done a lot of activism recently, but I'm most passionate about my current film. I'm working on my first documentary film that is called The Man Who Met God. And I'm very passionate about this film because I think it builds a bridge between religion, science, and spirituality that I think it could bring so much peace to a world that is so corrupted and biased. So I'm so excited and passionate about this project because I think it can really contribute to the global mindset of peace and what we believe and how we should unite as humanity. What's the most important?
Beautiful. So, and your part in the film is what? What are you acting? Are you writing? What are you doing with this film? How are you doing everything?
Well, I'm actually producing this film myself that I've written and directed myself, but of course I haven't done this alone. I'm very lucky to know a lot of talented filmmakers that have inspired me and helped me during the process. Um, but yeah, well, pretty much producing this film myself.
Wow, wow. So we have a mutual friend. That's how I'm meeting you, Dr. Ying. And
Mhm.
he's a great man and doing important work. He taught me, because he's a, boy, a physicist. I think I'm not saying that fully correctly, but he was teaching me. We were talking about Einstein. We were talking about relativity, wait. I have it here. It was so powerful. Some of the things he was talking about. Um, he's a smart guy. We were talking about thermodynamics. We were talking about energy and entropy, and information that I maybe I learned in school, but I don't recollect it. But as you get older, what do you think? As you get older, information. This actually, I don't think I ever learned, but we might have been taught things at a certain age, but then at another age, those things that we were taught actually have some relevance and actually have some meaning. Have you found that in your life?
Absolutely, because even though I'm an artist and I'm not a nuclear physicist like Dr. Yin,
That's a
um, I feel very passionate about quantum mechanics and physics. And growing up, I used to love to watch Discovery Channel's documentaries on science. And I remember that I used to argue with my science teacher because she was denying some of the science that is proven to be real today. And growing up at this age, I realized that mathematics and science, subjects that most of the kids don't like at school, happen to be so relevant and affect so hardly our daily life without us even noticing. But not because we don't see it doesn't mean that it's in there. So yeah, no, it definitely has changed the way I see the world.
they say math is in everything we do, and that similarly, what you're saying is, but we don't know. Well, I mean, we don't spend time thinking in that regard. How would you like people? You have a website, and how do people know more about you? Well, you
Well,
had some great pictures of you and some other good stuff. Where is all that information?
well, I do have my website, andreawen.com, where you can see most of the work I do in the arts. But I also have this website that is called One Humanity, One World, where all the activism and charitable work I've done, it's registered. Um, that website pretty much holds those two websites hold everything I do, basically.
What is this peace organization you're part of? It's an NGO at the UN. What are they doing?
Oh, well, it's different. I started doing volunteering with NGOs when I was still at high school. But growing up, after I graduated from high school, I started working on a charitable NGO that it's Clystar with Dr. Yin. That's how we met. When I graduate, I ended working for him because I love the cause he's working on. And well, of course, becoming a member of our collective opened a huge doors to a magnificent network of professionals that are very much involved in noble causes. And I met the founder of the Museum of the Future Foundation, who is Teresa Nackley, very loving, it's smart woman that is now in Brazil, but that has her origins are in the lands of war of Jerusalem. And she's trying to build a peace center in a war zone. And that cause, I think that is so inspiring. It's so worth fighting for peace in places where pretty much there's only war. And that's the Museum of the Future Foundation and UN registered NGO. But the One Humanity, One World was actually a global social movement that I founded in 2020 with all this COVID pandemic going on. I pretty much wrote a manifesto that people can find anywhere for free, basically talking about how we can find solutions to actually achieve peace, because I believe that peace should not be considered an utopia, like a utopia. It should be considered a plan that we should have goals to achieve. And people talk about peace like something that isn't realistic. And because we were facing so many global crises today, the climate crisis, economical crisis, the war crisis, the natural crisis, I basically wanted to draft something that could say we can actually have a plan to make peace possible realistically and start doing it now. And that's why I created One Humanity, One World, to talk with experts and professional and other activists from all the different areas, so we can sit down and talk about solutions, the solutions that the world needs. So yeah, that's my main focus.
Yay! I love that. I've dedicated my life to this peace concept, and I agree entirely with you. Even though I have Yoko Ono's Imagine Peace or John Lennon's, and when we always sing Imagine, and we've been doing the International Day of Peace concert in Central Park since 2002, 20 plus years, and Times Square. I don't know if you know that, but so you know, but I'm a businessman. I grew up in the shoe business. I sold shoes. I played in band. We sometimes got paid, not all the time, but in any case. And now, I have had a multicultural advertising in marketing company. So I help the big companies reach the different multicultural communities, ethnic communities. And I've done all this because I want to be able to help the world for more kindness and love and peace. Not, the world has, I believe, it's a peaceful world. If it wasn't a peace, in my mind, uh, for the people of the world and the animals and the plants, it's a peaceful world. And we like, with our good news of this show that you're on right now, is to focus on the mindset of the positive life. I tell people I'm stressed out from so much good news. And because I'm in the good news seat of people, I see good in all. And so if we focus on the positive, as opposed to the negative. My mother was the librarian at a Jewish temple, Emmanuel. Okay. And she gave me Reverend Norman, I'm a Reverend also, interfaith, all faith, Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking. And when you think positively and you look at the world positively, I believe you can move and do and do. See, what I love about what you're saying is not the la la kind of a piece. And that's very good. And we need the la la ers, if you know what I mean. But we need the doer. So what is it that we're going to do to move it? Tell me a little more about this manifesto that you have created. I'm interested in that.
Well, you know, I love that you just talk about how it's so important for you to focus on the positive, because what we focus on, we amplify. And that's the main logic, and that's actually how it works. And, you know, growing up, I've been very lucky to be surrounded by very wise people. And I learned that peace comes from within. And everything starts with ourselves. And if we want a more peaceful world, that means that we as individuals need to focus on cultivating that peace. Because when we bring the best of ourselves, we plant those seeds in others. And with that manifesto, I basically wanted to reflect that if each one of us focused in ourselves, then in our families, then we can change the world. We can change the world after we have worked every day to be the best version of ourselves, work every day to give the best of ourselves to our family and the ones we love, because then the entire world, it's gonna become our family. And then we can create a real change in the world with practical solutions. But it all starts within us. It all starts here, and it all starts with us focusing on the positive, you know? And with that manifesto, I basically wanted to tell that message, but then given practical solutions, because I think humanity really needs faith right now. And people, you know, the darkness that is surrounding us make us forget that we are the light, you know?
You are one impressive woman. I just wrote to Oprah Winfrey to get involved with what we're doing, and she did a whole series on faith. And I agree with you. Hope and faith is our big buzzwords. Hope is good, but once again, and faith is good. But what I like also is what are we doing with the hope, and what are we doing with the faith, and what are we doing with the peace, and what are we doing with the love? What are we doing? I mean, I agree. You know, we find ourselves, be kind, be loving, caring, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly. What I was learned as a Boy Scout, all the good things that those commentaries are, but those are actionable things. You know, you can't be very kind inside and then punch somebody in the nose. You can't. You know, you need to.
That isn't very coherent, though.
I'm sorry.
That isn't very coherent, though.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean that's not very coherent.
Oh, coherent, because it's a dichotomy.
Coherent. I'm sorry, my Spanish accent makes me say
No,
coherent.
my ears are not so. I couldn't hear you well. It's from being a rock and roll musician. All right, so let me ask you one last question. We can talk again because I want to talk again with you. First of all, well, two questions. Where you please send me a link. Is there a link for the manifesto that you created?
Absolutely.
Or is it on your website?
It is on my website. I can email it for you. Anyone can have it for free.
Okay.
It's on my
but it's on your website also, right?
Yes.
It is.
It's also published on Amazon, and all the royalties go to charity for the people that want to purchase a physical version. But yeah.
Got it. Okay. Send it to me again so I can include this. So my last question, because I ask a lot of people, but I've heard a lot. This is your subject to begin with. I ask everybody what's peace mean for them, but you've already spoken a lot on it already. So what is peace for you, Andrew? What is peace for you personally?
To me, peace is the ultimate goal of evolution, and that's what we all are. You know, Paul, I think it's very linked to, well, I'm going to start by saying that I believe in God as I believe in an omnipotent consciousness, but I don't think God has a name, or I don't think God has a face or an ethnicity, or I see God as the creator of everything. And evolution is the main purpose for us to reunite with God. But I also believe that each one of us is one particle of God. And God is that ultimate peace, because I think it's one of the highest stages of evolution. And I believe that as that tiny particle of God, we are here having this human experience, traveling, struggling, because life is beautiful, but sometimes being alive, it can be very hard in this planet. And I think we go through all this chaos, basically to grow ourselves like a seed struggling in the earth to bloom into this beautiful flower. When we grow into this excellent of ultimate peace, when we don't harm anybody and we're just an expression of love, hence an expression of the Creator. And to me, that is peace. I know that I am peace, but sometimes that peace can be diffused and distracted by all these forms and illusions and the world we live in. And I think the goal is to bring that thing that I have inside of me, that is that piece of God that I have inside of me, out, so I can give that best of me out, take it out. Because if everybody did that, God, the world would be so different. There would only be room for love. And I just think that will propulse our evolution in such a way. I don't know, I think that could be a big change. And I'm sorry if my answer is a little bit ambiguous, but peace for me, it's something that is very spiritual and profoundly connected with our essence, with everybody, because I believe that's it for everybody, even for the people that are in their darkest moments right now. I also believe in them in the same way as I see myself.
I love you, and I love your answer, and you are phenomenal. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for your time and for having me here.
Gracias. Thank you very much.
Gracias.